This is the Jetour T2. If you're into macho-looking off-road SUVs, this should get you excited, as Jetour might be bringing this to the Philippines in the not-so-distant future. Recently, Jetour invited us to a trip to China to check out their new products at the Shanghai Auto Show. One way that Jetour differentiates itself from its sister companies is that its products are geared more for the export market. And that's why they're coming up with these macho SUVs, which are not really that popular in China, but may be popular elsewhere in the world, like in the Philippines. Filipinos sure do love their macho SUVs. One such SUV is the T3. It's a massive body-on-frame SUV that looks like a roided-up FJ Cruiser. It has suicide doors and an interior that looks like it's from Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I'm not sure if this will ever make its way to the Philippines, but if you're interested, I'll do a video walk-around soon. Doing presentation videos at the Shanghai International Auto Show was next to impossible. Luckily, we got to have a more intimate look at the T2 when we went to Wuhu, China. Jetour showed us the engineering model, which is basically an almost complete prototype. Certain things may change when it hits production, but it's very likely that the final product will end up looking like this. The picturesque mountainous surroundings of Huangshan is the perfect backdrop for the T2. A vehicle that you would assume is designed to be taken to the mountains and over untamed terrain. In this setting, the T2 looks very much at home. The T2 is smaller than the T3, but it's still quite big. It's the size and shape of a Land Rover Defender. By the way, Land Rover, as well as Jaguar, has a joint partnership with Jetour's mother company, so they do share technologies and parts. I'm not sure if this uses any parts from Jaguar, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. The T2 has a very good chance of making it to our shores, and while I can't disclose the price yet, it's going to be quite attractive. Getting accurate information about the T2 right now is difficult, partly because of the language barrier, but mostly because it is still in its pre-production stage. So a lot of the specs are still tentative. We do know though with a reasonable amount of certainty that there's going to be two power plant options, a 2-liter turbo and a PHEV. While we know the exact displacement, we don't know the specs of the engine. We do know though that the Chery Tiggo 8 Pro 2-liter all-wheel drive produces 265 horsepower and about 400 Newton-meters of torque. So that could be a clue as to how much power this has under the hood. We don't know the transmission, but I think it's safe to bet that it's a dual clutch. Nothing about the T2 looks soft. All the lines are sharp and angular. You have square headlights. The Jetour logo is spelled out on the grille, and each letter is in its own box. The fenders are also squarish. The bumper looks beefy, as if it's made out of steel, but at least on this prototype, it's made of tough plastic. Now, I don't have the exact dimensions, but the track of the vehicle looks really wide. The fender flares are not just there for show. Without them, the tires would stick out a good 2 inches from the body. The unit that we saw at Shanghai had 20-inch wheels with Comforser all-terrains. This one has 19-inch wheels with GT all-terrain tires. Like I said before, this is an engineering unit, and it's not quite complete yet. One thing that's not working is the tailgate. It doesn't open. What's interesting though is that there seems to be exposed hinges on the tailgate. Not sure if it's just a cosmetic thing or if they're actually going to go for these external hinges. The T2 is based on a monocoque chassis. If you think that limits its off-road capability, do remember that the new Defender is also based on a monocoque chassis. I was told that this was going to be all-wheel drive. Now this particular prototype seems to be front-wheel drive, but looking underneath, there is space for a propeller shaft and a rear differential, so they can easily add those later on. The T2 has independent suspension on all four corners. At the back it has a multi-link setup with an upper swing arm and trailing arms. I couldn't quite see clearly what was at the front, but it looks like it could be a McPherson setup. The interior of the T2 matches the exterior in that it looks modern, retro, and premium at the same time. The same boxy shapes that you see on the outside can be seen on the inside. You get modern touches like a huge MacBook Pro sized screen, but you also get exposed screws for that industrial look. Everything looks and feels premium. I mean, even the door opener is dampened. Look at this. This is leather wrapped over here. You have this aluminum accent over here. This, I'm not sure what this is. It looks like it could be velour or it could be textured leather. The steering wheel is covered in the same material. The seats are covered in the same velour-like material. Now keep in mind that this is a pre-production model, so things will probably change when this arrives to our shores. If this arrives to our shores. Now the highlight here is obviously this huge screen. Now I'm not sure what size it is. It looks like it's 14 inches. It looks like it belongs to a laptop. You have dual wireless phone chargers here. Both front seats are power adjustable, and you get this beefy looking shifter. Over here you have two cup holders, an armrest with plenty of storage underneath. As for the storage, glove box is decently sized. The T2 is a 5-seater. Here at the second row you get plenty of space. You get dual aircon vents, one USB-A port and one USB-C port. You also get the center armrest with two cup holders. It has this brushed aluminum finish on it, and you get the same exposed screws here at the back. Aside from the Shanghai Auto Show, we also got to visit Jetour's plant in Wuhu, China, which is a technological marvel. The production line is highly automated. There are still people doing quality control, but a lot of the assembly is done by robots. It's truly impressive, but that's going to be a topic for another video. Jetour has a pretty aggressive plan for the Philippine market. They're going to be releasing quite a few interesting models this year, which will hopefully include the T2. If it does get released here at the right price, I think it just might disrupt the market. It'll also come with one of the best warranty packages in the industry. Jetour offers a 6-year unlimited mileage comprehensive warranty and 10 years of engine warranty. Chinese cars have really come a long way. If you still think that they're cheap knockoffs of Japanese cars, you really have to check one out at the showroom. The tables have really turned. What I've seen at the Shanghai Auto Show and at Jetour's plant confirmed what I already knew. There is steam behind this push, and it just might be a matter of time before we see some of these Chinese brands outpacing their more established competitors.